Mhm.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sarah, your hostess, and I am delighted this evening, because it is evening here in the UK, to be joined by my guest, Niall Gerrard. Niall is going to be sharing with us energy healing for the masses, a new paradigm. Niall, welcome to the program and thank you for joining us.
Be here,
Can you?
although I'm not really here, but kind of here.
You're here, yes. Sorry, we had a little bit of a blip there. You're frozen. That doesn't matter. We've got you back. Excellent. Let me introduce you to Niall. Niall is from Dublin.
With the territory.
Niall is from Dublin, Ireland, and has had a varied background before finding his true calling and became a bioenergetic healer. He did his training in Serbia. He has worked for over 20 years as a professional psychic, establishing practices in Dublin, London, and New York. And he has developed his own psychological therapy, which he has called soul therapy. He now works as an energy healer, specializing in resolving soft tissue injuries and related pain. He holds weekly Zoom meetings with renowned author Alan Steinfeld of New Realities fame, live from New York. In these meetings, Niall frequently works live on multiple people with multiple conditions simultaneously in full view of an international audience. Niall, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Okay, well, I just have to let you know that with my work and with my energy configuration, for whatever reason, it does interfere with the Wi-Fi and any electronic signals, including cars and telephones and all kind of things. So it's becoming increasingly problematic, and more I'm working with just photographs now and not even a live signal anymore. Well, I'm still working with a live signal, but now I'm forced to work with photographs sometimes, more and more. And there's no doubt that it's to do with the energies I'm working with, because it doesn't happen to other people. Okay, so you would like to know how I became what I became?
Yeah, yes, Niall, please share a little of your story, how you've come to do what you do.
Well, basically, I've been doing what you might call extrasensory work since 1985, when I moved to Boston, Massachusetts, and some elderly lady there. I was going to this tea rooms there. It convinced me that I should be doing similar work to what she was doing, and because I was depressed and had fallen into some serious problems or whatever with depression, I started doing palm reading in Boston, what's known as Boston Common, and for donations, and people were giving me quite substantial donations. And then I started to read tarot cards, and then I realized I didn't need to need palms or tarot cards or whatever. And I did that for more than 20 years. That's a long. I don't know exactly how long it is. You can do the maths yourself. Anybody feels like it. And anyway, to make a long story short, I was doing therapy with people, psychological therapy, and I was experimenting with different techniques, because, as you know, people who are looking for who are actually engaged in finding and working with psychological therapies are very dissatisfied in general, because the results are not there generally, or if they are there, it takes a very long time and very slow progress and expensive and so on. I mean, the conventional therapies. So I was experimenting with different techniques out what was a way to clear blocks, to really resolve karma and to resolve trauma, childhood traumas in particular. And one of the techniques I was experimenting with different techniques to find out what worked, because I could analyze the issues with the psychic intuition ability apparently phenomenally effectively, or at least that's what people told me over and over again. So I guess they can't all be wrong all the time, you know. So anyway, one of the techniques involved touching people on different points in the head. It was called access technique. Maybe, I don't know if anybody's heard of it. In any case, several clients I was working in reported that they had some sort of abscesses or pains, not pains, but some kind of swellings, tumors of some sort on their neck and head or whatever, and went away. And then I worked on somebody who had arthritis after that as an experiment, and her pain went away at least for a period. So it was obvious that there was some ability to affect pain and injuries. Although I didn't bother or I didn't neglect it because I was working with the psychic ability, and that was very very going very well. There was no need for me to diversify or distract myself with any going in another direction. Anyway. One thing led to another, and basically in 2002, I think it was, fixed some guy's shoulder that was really that he had just in one session, and I found out later that he had been going to a very, very specialized doctor in Bulgaria for months and months, and renowned, from the football team doctor with a shoulder injury, bursitis, I think it was what it was. And he went after one session, and up to 3 years later, and I haven't met him after 3 years, there hadn't been any relapse of it. So then I got some more publicity in Bulgaria and TV shows, 5 TV shows, and this and that, and this and that. And then basically, I was going back and forth to New York, and I got mentored by some lady who had a healing center in New York. The place was called the I actually forgot the name. I'm sorry. But anyway, she was quite well known in New York, and through her I got to know Alan Steinfeld. And she basically mentored me to me realizing that it wasn't my energy, that this was something that I had access to, or it had access to me, and that I could work on multiple people simultaneously, which I found very hard because I felt I was just to do with my hands, where people were calling me magic hands in Bulgaria. So anyway, I tried it with 2-3 people at the same time without touching them, and it worked, and it's continued to work. And it's been problematic because what happens is it works with most of these people who do healing stuff. They meet a lot of skepticism. That wasn't the problem with me. The problem with me is that when people realized it worked, it was so fast and so extraordinary that they're terrified of it. I mean, I'm talking about ordinary mainstream people, terrified of it, and just couldn't get away from it quick enough. And it was really strange. And that's when I realized that the human condition is very blocked. We're very trapped. And ordinary people, even people with and the more I have to be careful here on what I say. The more the person had a religious background, the more resistant, the more quicker they ran away from it. They're running away because it worked. They didn't expect it to work, and then I went around the world to different places, like everywhere from India, even in India, which is supposed to be open to all of these stuff. I got thrown out of the hospital. I was working in the hospital, got thrown out, or politely not provided with transport to come back, because the people in the rehab place with the results were making their results were making them redundant. In fact, so they just couldn't cope with that. Anyway, never mind about that. But it made me realize that the human condition is a very, very there's something very wrong. When some energy can heal things like this so fast, and people are running away from it. And I really mean running away from it. And even people who said they're open to it, when they actually experience it, are frightened of it. So now what I've done is I've been working with Alan Steinfeld and people in California, basically, let's call them New Age hippies. And of course, Sarah maybe could be under the same category. But is it all right to call you a New Age hippie?
A bit old.
Anyway, it's done now, so I'll probably be back in the sin bin, but never mind. But anyway, these people are kind of more open, obviously much more open to it. And with the show, there was people calling from different places, and I'd work on them live, and then we work on multiple people at the same time. And then it's been dawning on me that if it works on 8 people or 5 or 6 people simultaneously, I'm not talking about people dying of cancer with a systematic disease. I'm talking about people that have a pain in the shoulder, who've got migraine, who have a specific soft tissue injury in a specific area, not people that are dying. Okay, that's different animal. That's different animal. But if it works on these people with specific symptoms, including the long COVID thing, I worked with several people with that live on the show when they can't taste and smell, and after a few minutes, and the shows are on the internet. Anybody can watch them if they want, and I'll give you the information how to access them later. then if it works on 8 people, this is what I realized is the energy. If you work on 8 people, the energy, it's not one energy split 8 times, and therefore you'd expect the results to be less on each individual person, but that's not the case. The results seem to be the same as if you work on an individual. So then it's dawned on me fairly soon that what is the limit of this? If there may not be any limit on this at all, and this is not a normal thing, because although I did some training in different practices, I don't actually use any of those practices anymore, and I didn't even listen to the practices when I was doing the training. I just basically wanted to get some certificates so I could look at least pretend to be legit, in terms of qualifications. There's no technique. It's just a very simple channeling. It's actually a direction of the energy, and that's all I'm doing. And I worked out a very simple way of people focusing so they all can access it at one time. And it's absolutely real. So basically, there may not be any limit to how many people can be affected by it at one time. That is people that are, open to it, and that is a soft tissue injury, not something like bone-on-bone injuries, which is a different animal. Okay, you can't really. This energy is not capable of repairing, fixing something if it's not longer there, like a cartilage between the bones, or whatever. So, and this is real possibility. It does look like that, and it doesn't tire me out, which is another indication that the energy is not mine. Because if it was mine, the more I would do it in a particular day, the longer I would do it, it would reduce in effectiveness until it's recharged. Presumably, that's not the case. I can get very tired. When I worked on 27 people in Fairfield, Iowa, which is the center of TM meditation in the world, by the way. I think it was 27 people. I was counting them. It was also, but the results at the end seemed to be just as effective as at the beginning, even if as long as I'm able to focus the energy. So again, it's another indication that it's not mine, which is what this lady mentored me, that it's not yours, but it has access to you and you have access to it. And that's what I refer to as having the connection. So there's a real possibility here that millions of people can be affected by it at one time. Now, we don't know that for sure because we haven't collected millions of people together, but we've collected a bunch. And it doesn't seem to be any diminution of the effectiveness with a group. In fact, if anything, the results seem to be stronger, although the results are so fast and so strong, it's hard to say if it's stronger because it's so strong from the beginning, if you know what I mean. But it is getting stronger. I have about that. So there's a real possibility it can be affecting millions of people, and it could be global and planetary in no time at all. And that's very easy with the technology, which is one benefit of the plus. It's probably about time it was used for something useful and rather dumb pornographic videos or other stuff, TikTok, doodly doops and all kind of garbage things and nonsense. So that's that. How does that sound?
Niall, that's great, because this is about introducing you to people, your energies to people, yes. And it is, yes, absolutely. There are so many of us that act as a channel, and providing we are allowing the individuals that are receiving to receive what they choose to receive, there is no reason for us to become exhausted. And I know this from my own experience. I can work on person after person after person after person with the sound, and I'm not tired. And the same with the Reiki, because we receive a dose as the energy comes through us. So it's empowering us at the same time as offering the energy to the individuals. Now, you were talking about the people that sort of run away scared from it. Yes, and I do think they do that. There's no two ways about it, because in spite of everything, some people do not want to be healed. They are happy in their pain, in their discomfort, in the energies of what's going on. And I've come across people like this. Could I help them? Could you help them? Could many other people help them? Yes, but they don't want that help. There is something deep inside them that says, no, you're taking away who I am if I become healed. And I think it is for all of us to realize that it is really important that people have choice. You and I here are here, and so are so many others. We have an ability to support people to heal themselves with the energy that we bring. And some people choose not to take that energy. But you said, you know, in the introduction, it's about, or in your bio, which I've put down, where's it gone? The technique you've created, which you've called soul therapy. So is that what you've been talking about?
No, that's absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about now. That's got to do with psychological soul integration. It's nothing to do with this, what I'm doing now. I mean, in terms of the way I use it, but in terms of the effect, it probably is part and parcel of it. But that's not what I'm talking about now. This is not a technique. This is simply a focus, a channeled energy, and I just focus it, and that's all I do. So there's absolutely zero technique. Okay, the soul therapy has some techniques, some very minimalistic techniques that I imply, but the information about what I use it on comes from my intuition or whatever. So they're two separate animals in terms of the way I present them anyway. Okay.
Okay.
So this whole thing is about personality and integration. So, and this is purely about physical conditions. Although they'll cross back and forth or whatever, but this is about concrete physical pain, injury conditions. Okay, it's not about emotional things. That's the main thrust of it anyway.
Okay. So you're saying that the soul therapy is more about the emotional, because you also talked about the sort of the trauma of inner child, etc.
No, because you wanted me to give you a background of where I came from, you know, how I came to this place. But what I'm doing now has got nothing to do with that. I do that as a separate chunk of work. It's a separate hat on. It's a different hat on. Yeah.
No. Okay. So basically, you act as a channel for the energy, like the Reiki practitioners do. We just open the channel and we allow that energy to flow through us to the individuals. But it suggests from what you're saying that you feel there's something deeper than that.
Well, I mean, it's not about what I feel, and it's about basically the results. And you know, we're getting the results are there, and basically it's about increasing the vibration of the planet, because that seems to be the core. That seems to be what's behind it. It doesn't just heal injuries, by the way. It changes people's voices, and it changes people's movement. It changes the strength of the muscles. It changes the flexibility in the joints. So it has a very strong, at least short-term effect on musical performance and athletic performance. And I don't know whether that's a side effect or whether it's, you know, it's another purpose of it, you know, or a bit of both. So, but you can, it's a vibration of the singers, for example, changes. If anybody wants to see my website, they'll see examples of that. We can even do it for you right now if you want, since you like to do vocal stuff.
Yeah, I do love doing my vocal stuff because that's what I do best. It's my thing. My gift is the vocal stuff. Vocal Reiki, as it's called, but stuff. Yes.
But I mean, we'd like to demonstrate to people, because there's no point in talking about things if there's too much talking about everything and opinions and this and that, and nobody has really anything concrete to say, anything absolutely sure. Everything is speculation, and very few situations can produce concrete results on any kind of consistent basis that you can see in your hand, you know, or in the flesh, in the body. So. Do you want to try it, Sarah, or are you?
We can, yes, because I think what is very important to me is that what we do is we share for everybody to experience. So,
yes, very much.
For those watching live, I've just put Niall's website up, but obviously we'd like you to stay with us, not go searching his website at this precise moment in time. So if there's something that you would obviously like, but it's really important to me that this energy is offered, because I know you work live,
yes,
but a lot of people that will watch this video will watch the video rather than the live. And so it's, for me, it's that holding of that intention, that the energy is there for whoever watches the video as well, regardless of when they are listening. So that's
well, that's it's an interesting idea. But are there any people there, and if we can send a message to people, if anybody has any specific injury or pain, maybe they can send us a message right now. We can work on it, on them individually, and then on the group, perhaps. Is anybody send a message in?
Everybody's being very quiet at the moment, and that does happen. So I shouldn't worry about that.
Maybe there's nobody there, Sarah. What about that? Huh?
Well, it might be, but then, as I said, I've said to you, it's a lot about the people who watch this after the event. So, and that's why it is important for the energy to be available when with the video.
It'd be devastating for my ego if the only audience is 3 dead cats watching.
Oh no.
That'd be very devastating. But if it happens, I'll get over it. Yeah.
So, yes. So if you would like to share a demonstration, and okay, I know there are members of my family that are affected by things like migraine. There are other people that I know that have things like back injuries, which aren't necessarily bone, but they're just muscles and things that go out. So, and so many people are affected by neck and shoulder issues, the tension in neck and shoulders for a lot of people. So, folks, whenever you're watching, just Niall, what do you ask people to do? I will hand over to you.
All right. So do you want to try your vocal thing just so people can see it in concrete terms? A very quick one.
Oh, well, what do you want me to do then?
Well, you can either sing or do your your vocal thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And it can be a combination. But what we want is that you do like 30 seconds or whatever, and then repeat the same thing after so the comparison will be there. Okay.
Oh, okay. So
it can be a song. It can be a song either. It doesn't have whatever.
I will do a tone.
Yeah.
And then you tell me when you want me to do whatever again. But
okay. The tone means to be just one tone. Can we do a combination of tones or so?
Because I channel this
energy. You do whatever comes. All right.
I don't try and control it.
No, that could be dangerous.
Okay, so I don't know what will happen because it's just a matter of what energy, and so I just hold the intention for the highest.
No, I totally understand. We'll give it a blast. Yeah.
Okay.
So 30 seconds, okay, or whatever. That's it?
That's one.
That was exciting. I'm excited. Okay, so just see my hands on your vocal cords like this, or 2 hands on your vocal cords, okay? Energy flowing out of them like a waterfall. And if anybody else is listening, if there's anybody out there, see my hands, 2 hands on the affected area, whether it's the back, or if you don't have any pain, like you said, Sarah, on the back of the neck, okay? So 30 seconds. Close your eyes, please. Everybody close their eyes and see that. That passed quick. Okay. Oh, please open your eyes and do the same. If you can remember to do exactly the same thing in exactly the same way, if that's possible.
I just asked the guys to do whatever they needed.
Yeah. It's out of your hands.
It's important. So, okay.
Okay, well, I can't make any comment on that. It sounded a bit. It was definitely different, a bit like a didgeridoo. So I don't know. Yeah, at the end. So I don't know. Yeah.
It's
But
been
anyway,
likened to a Tibetan singing bowl in the past.
yeah, that could be no didgeridoo. So does anybody make any comments about that? Is there anybody there at all, or?
There are certainly no comments, but
All right.
I wouldn't worry about that. I
Oh
would
no, I'm not worried.
the feedback, will come as and when. Yeah.
Okay, we can do some other in terms of the athletic performance. You want to see how I can improve the shoulders and fingers and things like that, or?
Yeah.
You'd like to try that?
Offer some energy out there, and we'll ask people, even if they're just watching the replay, the video, we'll ask them to come feedback to you.
I think it's a bit like looking for extraterrestrials, wondering are they out there? Is there anybody out there on this show? You know what I mean? That's fine.
They are out there.
Maybe there's more chance of extraterrestrials watching than people in Peckham, maybe. But never mind. Yeah.
And I'm sure people will feed back to you, and they will come back to you, Niall.
Okay, I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay. So what would you like us to do then?
Well, one of the things I do is used for boxers is about punching, that you increase the movement. The vibration is increased, so the movement is enhanced. Okay, but I don't know how if you'll be able to see it from where you're at. Can you do that? Can you?
What to do? Just punch out.
Yeah, it's like if you're boxing, but you want to make it faster. So you have to do it.
I'm not a boxer, and I don't do karate.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe it's not such a good idea. Never mind. Well, I'll try to find another idea. Yeah. So there's nobody there with some injury they want me to work on that we can. No. Yeah. All right then. Okay. Well, basically the situation is this: that this may well be this, as far as I'm concerned, this is absolutely another paradigm, because I've been doing it, on a regular basis, and a bunch of people who call up. So, and there's no logical reason if it works on 10 why it couldn't work on 100 or a million or all the whole, there's no, because it's a huge supernatural energy, and it's not, for example, the show, the guy was in New York, but the people were in different parts. Sometimes you never even know where. In Canada, in Mexico, and somebody from Sweden. And it makes no difference to the result how many there were or where they were at, as far as I could tell, or at least if there was a difference, it wasn't discernible to me. So, and if it can work on multiple people at the same time and very fast as well. We haven't been able to demonstrate that tonight because nobody showed up with a problem. So it's very hard for me to fix a problem when nobody shows up with one. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's about trusting that it will touch the lives that it is meant to.
Yes, I know, but people want concrete evidence, and so there has to be a concrete problem to show the concrete results. But I understand, yeah. Yeah. So that's the situation. So the point is that this, as far as I'm concerned, this energy is there in the ether. And for whatever reason, humanity is not able to access it for whatever reason. And for some reason, very peculiar to me as well, I'm able to access it, or it's able to access me. And I think I'm a catalyst for it. I catalyze it somehow. And I'm able to channel it. I'm able to direct it. And there doesn't seem to be any limit to how many people. In fact, when you're working with the people with 10, if anything, it seems to be stronger. If anything, so it's not the same energy split 10 times as I already said, or it's not like. But if you worked on those people individually but on 10 different occasions, the result seems to be broadly the same. It's very hard to see a difference, in terms of the results. So if anything, it's stronger with the group because the people are pulling in the energy, I guess. If anything, it's stronger. Okay, so that gives it phenomenal potential. It's probably a good idea that there's nobody here to listen to it. It might blow their mind too much, you know what I mean? It's too much for the world to handle on top of this coronavirus and everything else,
But here's a challenge for you, Niall.
Yes.
Offer the energy out there.
Yeah.
And allow the individuals that it is meant to touch, for it to touch their lives when it is right for them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And challenge yourself.
Yes.
To step outside of your knowing.
Yes.
Because you're used to working with people right there.
Yeah.
So challenge yourself now to trust that energy.
Oh, no, I do trust it. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, but trust it when you are not aware of the outcome.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Oh, no, I've been doing that on the show, but we were able to get immediate feedback, and that really enforced the veracity of the thing, But that's fine. Yeah.
So by all means, offer some energy out there, and let's see whether.
Okay then. So let's. You mentioned about the shoulder. Let's work on. Do you have a tight shoulder or a stiff neck or whatever?
Most people always have a tight shoulder and stiff neck.
So move it to the side, back and forth. Look, hang on 1 second. Try to keep your head from bobbing up and down. So we can. Yeah, that's it. Now do it both ways and feel the tension when you're gone. So it's much tighter on your. It seems to be much tighter on your right side, or at least the right side where your face is. Correct, on that side, yeah. Is that correct? It looks like it.
Tighter there.
It's tighter there, yeah. That's your left side, yeah. Okay. Let's focus the energy there then. Okay, so my two hands on that side. Okay. And everybody else
not the same, then it's offered.
Yes, everybody else the same. It's just they have to see two hands, my two hands, wherever they have the problem. Okay. And if they don't have a problem, then they should have a problem because everybody seems to have a problem, fucking loads of problems. So if they don't have a problem, they shouldn't be watching this show. Maybe that's the answer to that. Okay, let's go. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now move it down, please. Both ways. The same like before. You might have to move it a little faster, otherwise you won't see it. Well, do you have more range of movement?
It's not as tight.
Yeah, okay, let's do it a little bit longer. That was just 30 seconds to see if you respond. Okay, let's do it a bit longer, yeah? Mhm. Okay, now try it now.
That discomfort there has definitely gone.
Okay, well, let's do it a bit more. I still feel it's tight though. It's not as free
No,
as
but
the other side.
seriously, the pain that was there, the discomfort that
Yeah,
was there, has
yeah.
gone.
Okay, I believe you, but the tightness
I
is
wouldn't
still
say
there.
if it hadn't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, let's work on it a little bit longer, and anybody else that's still watching, yeah, okay, the same. Yeah, okay, bit longer, but it'll be a bit longer now. Mhm. Okay, now try it again, Sarah, please.
No, the discomfort's definitely gone.
And is it less tight?
It was really pulling there. I could feel it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, we probably need to do it a little bit more, a few times to totally eliminate that entirely. But it looks like it's the right direction.
Way better than
Way
it was.
better. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Okay. So yeah, I
Okay.
guess that's that for now. Yeah.
Well, no, that's fine. And obviously, if it for me, it's holding the intention that anybody watching,
Yeah.
especially if they've got issues around the neck, they can, and if it doesn't matter if it's not their left-hand side, if it's their right-hand side, just as you've said, picture your hands in that area and just allow yourself. And I suppose the same would go if you've got migraine. Picture your hands over their head.
Now, migraine is a totally different animal, and you've got to be very careful with that. Because if you have to get this energy in very small doses and very small amounts time-wise, because it brings on the energy drags the issue out, so the pain will intensify. So you have to be very careful with migraine. You have to warn people in advance that the headaches will worsen as it's clearing, and it can be much worse. Relatively short time, but it can scare the living daylights out of them.
Yeah.
And has done. So we have to be very careful with migraine. In fact, I'd rather not work with migraine. I'd rather let you just sort of leave them to have it, to be honest with you, because usually they give me a hard time. Because in the beginning we didn't know how to use it. We didn't know the parameters for using the energy in an effective way. It's very strong. And so basically with the migraine, we just do it for 30 seconds. And then the people have been warned that it's going to get worse, but it's getting worse. It's clearing out. So, but we have to be very careful with it. Very careful with that. Yeah.
So basically, a healing crisis can occur.
Well, you can call it whatever you want, but the pain intensifies as it's clearing out, and it's very, very intense. So that's just how it works with migraine, but it will clear it out, and nothing else currently apparently does. So and it's worked on many things that nothing else will do. Carpal tunnel, the issue that many people, you can get rid of that in no time at all, and yet the world thinks there's no solution to that apart from they put some kind of packaging on it and tell you not to use it or whatever, which is the only way they can resolve a tendon overuse, basically, is what it is. And this energy get rid of it in no time, yet the world doesn't know that.
Well, they operate on it as well now.
Yeah, but I don't know how effective that is. It's
not very.
It takes a long time to recover. Yeah. Operating on anything with tendonitis, it's a form of tendonitis, as I understand it. The surgery for tendonitis is very, very hit and miss. In particular, tendonitis. So this is and we can work on many people at the same time. So the potential for this in terms of a global alternative of medical procedure process is right there, ready for anybody is right there for the taking if the world ever wants to take it.
Excellent. So we're coming to,
and it's easy to prove. It's not like talk. This is a real phenomenon that's very easily demonstrated, and collectively as well. So it's not about showing that it's real. That's easy. It's people getting into their head that this is the new way. They've been indoctrinated by religions and other vested interests to keep them trapped, to keep them in ignorance and the status quo. Yeah.
I really think that people are opening up to alternatives because they are finding that a lot of modern medicine isn't helping, and they do turn to what we do. And I think it's just trusting that people are becoming more open, and it's trusting them to experience it for themselves and trust the energy of it for themselves. And people, and it's really important that, which is why I do these programs, that people get a chance to get to know the individuals.
Yes.
And they get a chance to know who you are.
Yeah.
So that they can feel, is this somebody that resonates with me, and what they are doing, does that resonate with me, and I feel comfortable with that. So if you're watching the video replay, if you're watching via YouTube, you will find Niall's email address, website address under the video. Please go and check that out. Go and check Niall out.
And if people want to have a free demonstration session, not a problem in principle.
Okay, thank you. And so, folks, but this could be, somebody could be watching this in 10 years' time, Niall.
Oh, in 50,000 years' time. Huh?
Exactly. However long YouTube stays up.
Yeah.
So before we draw this to a close, is there anything more that you would like to share that we maybe haven't touched on?
No, basically it's a new reality. It's a new world, and sooner or later it will come to the forefront, because people just aren't getting the results that they really need. But medicine is only working on a one-to-one basis. You know what I mean? But apart from the inoculations or whatever, but basically it's one-to-one. This is the potential to work on unlimited numbers of people on many, many conditions simultaneously, and nobody really believes that, actually. But I'm seeing more and more as probably true. It looks like it to me because I'm experiencing it, people's reaction, and that's a whole new world.
Yeah, it is, and people are turning more and more to energy. Whether that energy is the energy that you bring, the energy I bring, the energy so many other people bring, and they are getting the results. And it isn't just a one-on-one. Many of us can, and we are finding, the conversation I've had just recently through these programs with somebody, is that even some of the hands-on techniques that you'd think have to be physically hands-on, people are now discovering that they can do those via the internet. that it's about the energy of it. It is not about the actual physical hands-on. And so it's amazing what is actually happening, and people are opening up to it. It's scary. Yes, of course it is. We've been brought up in a world of modern medicine, but it is happening. So Niall, thank you so much for sharing with us. It is so much appreciated. Folks, next week, the Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls, I've got Dr. Wayne Phimister with me, and we're going to be talking about the mind-body connection in respect of chronic pain. So do feel free to join us. And I'm sure if it's chronic pain, there's aspects of that sort of Niall can probably definitely help with, especially if it's soft tissue pain. But Niall, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for everybody or anybody that's listening.
Yeah, they will listen, Niall. It's just trusting that.
Oh yes, I'm a believer.
And so the minute I turn this off recording, we'll be kicked out the room. So thank you again. I will email you tomorrow with the link to the video so that you can share it as well. Thank you, folks, for joining us. Thank you, Niall, for joining us and sharing with us. And I hope that folks will get in touch with you. Take care.
Thanks, Sarah. Thank you so much for all your dedicated work.
Namaste, sweet soul.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.